All right, we're here live, SampleServe Masterclass Wednesdays. I am Joshua Paul. Thank you for joining us. With us, I have Russell Schindler, founder and CEO of SampleServe. Say hi, Russell.
How's it going?
I am the product manager of SampleServe. Russell has 35 years of experience in the environmental world, sampling his whole life. He was born with a meter in his hand.
Yeah.
And what we do here on these Wednesdays is we like to teach you stuff on our platform. We like to bring on experts from the field, from the industry, talk about industry trends, and show you new features that we've come out with as well. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat while this is going on. We'll get to it. Even after this is over, put them in the chat. And if you know of anybody that this would be helpful to, send this link along to them as well. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about Sample ENV. This is our environmental platform. This is for all types of media, drinking water, wastewater, soil, groundwater, pretty much anything. If you're putting in a sample in a bottle, we can handle it with this platform. So this is actually a part 2 of 4 series that we're doing. In the first part, we handled the project management of setting up a project, getting it all, the work scope all planned out, adding all of our sample locations, adding all our tests to our sample locations and forms. We have that all planned out. The next part is we're transferring that data over to the field app. So this is our agenda today. We're going to be collecting data real time in the field. I'm obviously not going to be in the field, but we're going to pretend I'm in the field. We're going to be printing sample bottle labels. We're going to be generating a chain of custody. We'll show you all the geofencing, or we'll show you the GPS, how the GPS works, and we'll show you how it works and it can work in offline and online modes. So it's going to be an interesting one. All right, so let's go to the platform. Let's show them what we did. What did we do last time, Russell? We set up this project here.
Yeah, we set up actually 2 kinds of projects. One was like a groundwater project, and another was a drinking water project, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of showing these 2 different projects in parallel.
Yeah, so on the left here, we have all of our lists of sample events that are planned out. Now, we only made 1 drinking water event last Wednesday, but what we did is we headed over to this recurrence tab here, and we set up an automatic reoccurring sampling event. And we set it up so it happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you can see all these sampling events listed here. Now, they're still scheduled because obviously I wasn't going to go out and take fake samples throughout the week just for the heck of it. But all these samples events have just been automatically generated. I didn't create these. These just showed up here. And you can see they're dated, 2/5, 2/6, 2/7, and then it skips the weekend for Monday, Tuesday, and then now there's one here on the 12th for today. So this is the one that we're going to be sampling today. And then
it only goes 3 days in advance, so it's not going to do the entire year. It's just kind of stays out there 3 days in advance.
Yeah. So you can see here I scheduled a nitrate sample that we're going to take. We have a drinking water field form that I customized. I have the alerts set here. These alerts aren't going to go off, obviously, because I'm sampling and I'm generating a chain of custody today. So let's head over to the field app and let's start taking some samples. So this is the field app. I'm sharing my screen on my tablet right here. I have a couple tabs up here. I got the downloaded tab. I have nothing downloaded in my on my device right now. I got the assign tab. This is useful for if I want to assign specific samplers. They'll know which ones are theirs because they'll be in this list here. And if I head over to the all, I can see everything I'm connected to. And you can see all these sampling events that have been scheduled. And you can see the dates. You can see the names, the name of the event, and the date that it's, the target date that it's supposed to happen here. So let's go down to February 12th. This is the one that we're going to do today. Ideally, if I was out in the field doing this regularly, you wouldn't see these previous ones because they'd be marked as complete and they would disappear from the list. And I could still access them later on using this filter tab up here. So I tapped on the sampling event here. Now you can see that it's turned green. This little down arrow turned green here. That means it's downloaded to my device. Now explain how that works, Russell.
So when you first download the all your projects that you're invited to, it will just download a summary. And that's the date, how many samples you're supposed to collect that day. It has the project name. And then if there's some forms you got to fill out, it'll say the number of forms, number of samples, that kind of stuff. And so you just get a quick summary of what it's there. And then when you're going to go do the work, you're going to download the entire event. That's going to bring in all the photographs that are, associated with that project, each sample location. So all the detail is then downloaded onto the device. And the reason we have it done this way is just to save room and time. If you downloaded all the details of every project, we've got some people that have projects scheduled all the way out to the end of 2025. They don't need all that stuff. You don't need December's detail for something in February. So,
right.
So that's the reason for that. And it gives a little green icon. And then the way it would normally work is as you're kind of completing these projects every day, you're supposed to be sampling. The one you're going to be working on today would be at the top of the list, right? So once you finished yesterday's projects, you'd mark it as complete and it would disappear from your list. So, you just show up every day and download the first one or two projects in the top of that list. And then you go out in the field and start doing the work.
Yeah. Essentially, once you start your day, just download whatever projects are scheduled for that day. And then you can head offline. You can disconnect from the internet at that point. You're safe. And then you can start collecting data. So
and you just want to make sure that the project manager hasn't made any recent changes to it. If they made a change after you've downloaded it and you're offline, you're not going to see that change.
Right. So, right. Yeah. So it's good to, make sure you download that sampling event, just before you're going to head out in the field. So you're getting the latest and most up-to-date version that we have. So clicking into the sampling event, there's a couple things I'd like to show you. We got this green arrow right here. And this green arrow is your sync arrow. This is going to tell you that everything that's collected on the field app is now connected up into the cloud. All the same data matches. And if you go offline, you start collecting data, this arrow will actually turn yellow. And that indicates that you have data on your field app that is not uploaded to the cloud yet. You can go back and reconnect to the internet. It'll automatically push that data back up and I'll turn this arrow green. And I can also tap it and it'll do a force push. It'll push everything up there and make it feel nice and tidy and cozy, knowing that everything that you have is back up in the platform as well in the cloud.
And the reason we built this is so that everyone knows for sure that your data is in the cloud. If you lose your tablet, drop it in the water, run over it with your car, and that arrow was green when that happened, you did not lose your data because, a tablet anymore is pretty inexpensive. It's, less than $200. Mm-hmm. When you go out and collect samples for an entire day, you may have run up $1,000 worth of data bill. Mm-hmm. And so the data is really more valuable than the tablet is. So if that arrow is green, that everything's been pushed successfully to the cloud.
Yeah. If that arrow is green, you could throw your tablet over a bridge and you'd still have all that data. So you're fine. So we have a map here. This map shows all your sample locations if they have GPS locations connected to those locations. Right now, we don't have any locations with GPS mapped out, so it's showing where I am. This is my neighborhood right here. What we can do, though, is we can easily add sample locations to the two sample locations that we have right here. We can add GPS data, and we'll do that. And then we have a little sort button up here. Russell, explain how this works.
So if you've, let's say you're doing a groundwater site and you've got historical data, it's always good practice, SOP practice to sample from the cleanest ones first to the dirtiest ones last. And so we'll look back at the last time it was sampled, total up all the contaminants that were detected. Could be zero, could be, 10,000 parts per billion of everything. And then we sort from clean to dirty by default. So the cleanest ones will be at the top, dirtiest ones at the bottom, and you'll just start at the top and work your way down. If it's a bunch of zeros or non-detects, you can pick any one you want and go to do that one. But that you should be doing the hottest ones last, and that's really that reason for that. You can tap that button and it'll resort alphanumerically. So sometimes if you got a big long list and you're looking for a particular location, it's easier to find it when it's alphanumeric. Obviously, 2 locations right now, it's real easy to pick the one you want. So
right. So heading into the settings tab, this is my printer settings up here. So I have a field printer that I have. This is made by a company called Zebra. And I just connected this Bluetooth to my tablet. And now you can see that it shows up right here is my tablet, or this is my printer right here. This is the MAC address that you want to select. So you just select these 2 things, you hit save. And now you're going to be able to print labels in the field at the time of sampling. We also have this little button right here. What does this button up here do, Russell?
So we have a partnership with In Situ Water Quality Meters, great company. They make some great meters. AT600 is like their most popular meter, and in my opinion, the best one. And so we can actually connect to those meters with a Bluetooth connectivity, and that's what that's about. So you'll pair your device just using regular Bluetooth connectivity. Mm-hmm. And then in the app, you would make sure that you've selected the model number. When you tap that meter, you're going to select the model number. It would show up there, and then you would just be paired to that printer, and then we can pull data from that meter into the app automatically.
Yeah.
So it saves you from having to type it in.
Yeah, so you're doing like low flow sampling, you're doing your stabilization readings. It's just going to pull in that data automatically from that meter. It'll start a new calculation, and then you kind of just sit there and just watch it happen. That's really nice.
Yeah, it kind of set it once, and it'll tell you when it's stable, right? We use the US EPA stability calculations in there, so it'll do all the math for you. And then when you're stable, you get that 3 in a row, and then that certain percentage, the number will turn bold and green. And once you get them all green, you're ready to take the sample.
Yeah, it's really nice. So let's head into an actual sample location here. We have our first sample location right here. It's just it's called Raw Water Pump 1. And the first part of the top here, inside a sample location, these are your photos. And this is a brand new time. This is the first time we've ever gone out and sampled this stuff. So there's no data, there's no previous historical photos or anything like that or GPS. We're going to add all this stuff. So I want to add a photo of my sample location just to document where it is, what it looks like, and the status and condition of it and everything. So I'm going to hit this add photo, add or take a picture button right here. Now I'm just going to take a picture of my keyboard. Now it's going to document that photo here, and it's going to show you the last 3 photos that you've always taken here. You can add a lot more if you'd want, but this really helps with making sure that next person that goes out and samples this location, they can look at that photo and say, I'm at the same spot. This is what it looks like. Further down here, I have a map. Now there's no map right here right now because obviously we haven't added GPS data to this, but that's really easy. All we do is just hit this grab GPS button down here. And now this tablet, wherever my tablet is located at, when I hit this grab GPS button, that data is now going to be associated with that sample location. So I'm going to grab GPS right now. It's going to pull that GPS information in. Now that it's connected to that location. I can always update it by hitting grab GPS again. And now when I go back in the platform later, I can create maps using this GPS information. It'll just go out and say, hey, these are the 3 or 4 or 5 locations that you have with GPS, and it'll map that out, plot those sample locations on that map automatically.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about using the GPS is that you're going to want to be right over the top of where you're going to be collecting that GPS. You don't want to be 10 feet away, because it's going to get 10 feet away. Yeah. And then give it a couple of seconds to kind of catch up to you. There's a little bit of a lag whenever you're moving across the site. Your GPS will be, 10, 15 feet behind you. So just get on top of that wall, wait a few minutes, tap it, and then it'll record the right location.
Just no drive-by GPSing, please.
Yeah, it takes a little, there's some lag in there.
And this area right here is all kinds of notes that you can send to the sampler in different areas for different parts, task notes, location comments notes. This is just all types of different information that you can pass along to the sampler. And then further down is my container summary. We're doing nitrates. And this is the lab that we have connected here. This is the containers that I'm going to need. I'm going to need 1 container for this. So I know that. Now let's go into start sampling here. Now, the first part here is our field data. This is our drinking water field form. This is that customized form that we generated last week when we set up our sampling work scope. This is all data that we entered manually that we want the sampler to collect. SampleServe didn't know that you wanted to collect this data. This is data that I knew that we had to collect in the field. So I built this form out, customized it to my liking. And this is all the data now that I can enter here. We have a flush timer built in. I can hit start here. It'll grab this time. We have a timer built into it. This is all editable. You can change this. It counted down that 5 seconds that I put in. You can put in 2 minutes. You can put in 10 minutes. Doesn't matter. You don't need to put in a countdown. All kinds of options. I can hit stop here. Now it'll document the start and stop time of that and how long I've did it. I can hit reset. I can edit this, and you can make it so it's uneditable too. You can make it so once they hit that start and stop, it's locked in. That's what they get. I have a pH information here. I got temp information that I can put in, and this is all stuff that I came up with on my own. I can also document a picture for any type of purpose that I'd like. I just take another picture of my keyboard again. Well, this could be for other purposes. Let's say if something's damaged, you want to document something that's damaged, or if something's out of place, you can document anything you'd like. And I got comments and notes on the bottom here. So let's pretend that I filled all this out in real time, real life. And I'm going to hit the collect samples button. And this is where we're going to go into the SampleServe's patented, chain of custody process where we document, who, the where, and what of who took these samples. So I'm going to sign my name here. It's going to be my signature. This is always going to show up on the sampling reports that you have. And then
the bottle labels.
And the bottle labels, yep. And I'm going to take a selfie here. Oh, my screen share stopped. It's a screen share app. That's what happens when you rely on free software.
The screen share software is free, so.
There we go. So you can see my little selfie here that I took, and this selfie will show up on your sampling reports as well, so you know exactly who took it. So I'm going to hit the continue button here. I have my printer shown right here. It's going to print out that sample bottle label that I have. Now, if I have 4 or 5 bottles that I filled up, it'd print out 4 or 5 bottles that I had connected to that test. Now, as you can see here, it's got my project name on top. It's got the sample location on there. It's got the test that I'm doing, the bottle that it's in, the date and the time, and that signature that I just filled out on the tablet is now on here as well. It's got these QR codes you can put on top of the bottle. This will help the labs scan these QR codes, and they can log in that information very fast. And I can easily apply this. This is waterproof. It's not going to smear or anything like that. So don't worry about putting this in a wet cooler.
And the one thing I'll add is that if you were supposed to fill up 5 bottles, it would print out 5 labels with appropriate bottle descriptions on each label. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to know because we have that test definition already built in. So it knows, how many bottles you need and what type of bottles they are.
Yeah, if you're doing 3 VOAs, it'll print out 3, and they'll say 40 mil VOAs, and then if you got a 250 poly, it'll say 250 poly on the other label.
Yeah, so you can see here it also collected the date and time and the GPS location that I was at when I hit that collect button. And then I can reprint the labels if I'd like. Now let's hit continue. It'll show that this sample location is now completed. I've done this. If I had somebody else out in the field that was connected to the internet as well, they would see that this is also completed, so they would know that the other person has completed the sample location. So I have one sample in my custody. Let's generate a chain of custody. Let's send this sample to the lab. I hit the custody button up here. I have my sample right here. I'm going to select this as the one that I want to transfer. We'll do a direct transfer. From this drop-down list, I'm going to select, let's select the lab receiving account here. And I'm going to hit continue. Now I'm going to sign my name here. And this is the signature that'll show up on the chain. I'm going to take a selfie. The selfie is going to show up on the chain as well. I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to give me a couple options. I'm going to generate a custody seal. So this custody seal is going to print out on my tablet again. Now this is just a sticker that I'm going to throw on the outside of the cooler here. What labs can do is they can scan this custody seal with our free lab app that we offer them, and that chain of custody will show up when they scan that custody seal. It's really easy. They can send that transfer that information to the laboratory. We'll cover all that next week though. I can share this chain of custody either through email or any kind of ways I can do that. All I do is hit share COC. I can pull up my email account here and I can send that along. And I can also save the COC on my tablet, and I can print the COC from a printer if I had my tablet connected to like a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi printer. Very
Yeah,
easy.
some labs aren't participating with us yet, and they say yet because I believe they all will eventually. But you'll be able to print out that chain of custody. Just go to a printer. Some people carry portable printers with them. They'll be able to print that and throw it in the cooler.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm going to hit done here. I have no more samples in my custody. So I'm going to go back to the main screen. Now let's head back over to the platform here. I'm going to hit refresh. Now you can see this sampling event is it has a new progress bar. It says in progress. So it shows you that somebody's out in the field. You know, they've taken data. Let's head over to the forms tab here.
And the reason we show the in progress is so that if you had a project manager who was going to make a last minute change, he knows that that person's already downloaded the event and started work.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a message to them going like, hey, you better call them and tell them you're changing the scope.
Right. And then let's download that chain of custody that we have available now. So here's that chain that we did. You know, I didn't fill out any of the top information, but you can fill all that out. And then I have my sample location here with the bottle. And then further down, I have my face here with my signature that I did. And here's me transferring this to the lab over here. Now, using the lab app, I can go in and I can receive this, and my selfie and my signature would show up over here.
And if you can see if you had thrown a paper copy into the cooler, it's got a spot there for the lab to sign it, you know, with wet ink.
Yeah.
So
further down. So, you know, we were able to go out in the field and collect data, create a chain of custody, get labels on the bottle, and you know, do all this without touching paper once, which is really nice in the field, you know. And I was able to document where the sample is. Next time I go out there, it's going to be even easier to find that sample location, which is really nice.
And everything's legible except your signature.
Well, that's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be irreplaceable. So I think that's it for you know, for sampling in the field. Next week we're gonna cover how a lab would take this data using our lab app and transfer that over into their system, or all the kinds of options that they have. And then the week after that, we'll show you putting that lab data back onto the platform and generating all kinds of reports. So, all right, thanks guys. We'll see you next week.